Hey guys, welcome back. Chapter 1, Section 3 here. We're going to talk a little bit about today on what economists do. Okay, so to economists, the word economy means all the activity that our nation has, which could be production, distribution, and the use of natural resources. So now basically what they will do is they will create economic models to determine how much of these things need to happen. So how much of a supply and demand towards the production, distribution, and natural resources do we need? And we will create models that will predict what we need either quarterly or for the next year when it comes to those things. So they're very important. Economists are very important when it comes to what to do in this nation. They will only show the basic factors needed to analyze the problem. So what's the problem? The problem is global warming. Okay, how do we fix global warming? By reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, they will plug greenhouse gas emissions and they will determine that will fix the temperatures in the world. Okay, so that's kind of an example of an economic model. The purpose of the models is to show visual representations of consumer, business, or other economic behavior. So it could be what we're using, it could be what businesses are doing, or just the behavior in general of the people in the United States of America. So economic models relate to the way business people, and consumers react to the changes in the world around them. They will determine constant factors of assumptions. So, assuming the price of inputs do not change, so whatever we're putting in there does not change, and that if it doesn't change, then it will fix the problem. Now, if that changes, then it won't fix the problem. Do you understand what I'm saying here? So, if the greenhouse gas emissions and limiting it to this specific point, okay, if we don't limit it to that point, then it will not change global warming. If we limit it to this point, then it will change global warming. And that's the difference there. So why are these constant factors important? Because economists realize in the real world, not everything is going to stay the same. So economic models don't show every detail. They will only show the basic factors needed to solve this issue at hand. Okay, so when economists create a model, they begin by using some idea about the way things work, maybe in the world, in the business land, whatever it may be. Then they will collect all the facts and discard those facts that are not important to them. If an economic economist wants to find out why, for example, teenage unemployment increases periodically in Erie County, okay, they will start taking all of the different things from the past 30 years that has changed teenage unemployment. And they will basically take all the factors and they will test this model. Okay, so this allows economists to see if the model does a good job in representing a reality of it. Okay, and in page 23 on your books, if you want to go into your books, there's a link there in your at the top of the economics folder, and you can kind of look at 23, but you don't have to because I already got it right here for you. So on the other hand, if the graph was scattered, then the economists may want to think of a different model to explain teenage unemployment. For example, okay, the hourly minimum wage, percentage of teenage unemployed. Okay, so as you can see here, whatever constant factor of assumption that they plugged in obviously was working because it was showing them as the money raised in minimum wage, teenage unemployment went up. So this would explain if the government raised the federal minimum wage on why businesses would be laying people off. Now, whatever constant factor of assumption they put in here did not work, okay? As you can see, we have a scattered plot, so that would be an invalid graph, okay? So when we apply these models to real life, much of the economists do attempt to predict how people will react to a particular situation. Some economists believe taxes should be cut, and this could put more money into the economist's pockets, therefore stimulating the economy. Other models may show how people may save their money and not spend it. Okay, so they'll bring all these different things and apply these models to real life. Hey guys, I got a great example for you. If anybody was keeping up with the coronavirus during our shutdown and our lockdown, every day, Erie County or Governor Tom Wolf or the President of the United States, President Trump, would come out and he would say, here's what's going to happen in the next 3 to 6 months if we do the lockdown. And they brought out graphs and they showed graphs. Guys, they literally showed long curves, nice curves, okay? So if we get curves in these economic models, okay, whether they're going up or going down and they're not scattered, that means whatever they put in there is determining a constant factor, we're assuming, that's going to fix this problem or going to stimulate this problem. So with the coronavirus, they said if we don't lock down, here's what's going to happen. We're going to have a spike, okay, during this time. And we're determining that we're going to have a spike if we don't do what we have to do, okay? So it's pretty crazy to think that, but economists are very, very important, and they a lot of times work with scientists when it comes down to these things to try to create graphs with valid predictions that are going to help the people, whether it be in the business world, in the science world, in the environment world, in the health world, to help people, businesses. Could be in the automobile industry with what types of cars to produce, so on and so forth. So political leaders may agree or disagree with economic theories and base policies on them. Okay, so whatever they're going to do, for example, how we're going to handle the coronavirus was based on an economic theory. Okay, on if we stayed at home, social distancing, what the health experts said, if we social distance and we wear masks, here's what's going to happen during this time, and this is how it's going to be fixed. An example, a hands-off economies, a laissez-faire means hands-off, and how much governmental intervention should there be, that's the wrong there, be within our economy is how presidents base their policies. Democrats will put economic theories together with more governmental intervention, and Republicans will put economic theories with more hands-off government. And how our government is ran determines how they're going to do things. Okay? So that's kind of the whole spiel behind what economists do and economic models. What I want to really get into today, or not really get into, but here's what you guys are going to be doing for your homework or your assignments worth 12 points, and you guys are going to become economists. And what I want you to do is I want you to graph a supply schedule here for the iPhone X and a demand schedule. Okay, so I want you to see how closely the supply and the demand schedule may line up, may or may not line up, and kind of predict if they're going to produce, if Apple's going to be able to produce enough of these iPhones for the supply and the demand. And if they mirror each other, then they will be able to supply. So you're going to kind of put it in here. Now, this doesn't go at exactly 50 clips. So, you put 100 is probably going to be around here. And the first one's going to be about, your first dot's going to be right there. Well, you go to your second dot, okay? So you kind of determine that the second dot's going to be about, it's 7,000. So kind of make a kind of a graph and kind of predict where things are going to put. So you're going to do a demand and supply curve for this, and then you're going to answer these 2 questions. 4 questions, I'm sorry. Make sure you answer the Y part because you're getting the points on the Y. And then you're going to do a supply and demand curve on the same graph. So you're going to have an X, okay? And then wherever that X meets is kind of where Samsung's going to want to produce as far as that's concerned and find the equilibrium. And this is the significant of it. So I kind of gave you number 3 there. So you're going to do supply, the price, and then a demand line in the price, okay, for Samsung Galaxy 9. All right, guys, and you're going to turn this in for 12 points into the Dropbox, and you just became an economist on a small scale. All right, guys, have a great day. Good job today. If you have any questions, please don't message me through Schoology. I'll get back to you as soon as possible during school hours, or Teams meeting me. Request a Teams meeting. That's fine too. We'll get to you. Okay. Just another note that these will be these chapters are a lot shorter. They're going to go faster. You guys stay on the ball. It's not like government where we have these long drawn out chapters. We have these quick chapters that talk about the government, and we're going to get into consumer economics here. So make sure you're keeping up on things. Next thing we're getting into here is the study guide and then the test. This chapter is only 3 sections and it's done. Okay, so this is the last section. Good job today. Make sure you watch this and make sure you do your work. All right, guys, have a nice day. Later.